Just listen and watch carefully.
Draw, and the pair of nines is best.
Chris Moneymaker going all in with nothing.
A stunning play from Moneymaker, who missed his draws, has nothing, and now has put Sam Farhall all in. He would have to put all his chips in if he lost this pot. He would be out of the tournament. Moneymaker bluffed at this once, and Farhall came. He's now bluffing at it again.
Sam's absolutely right.
This would be a tough, tough call for Sam. It's quite a predicament for Sammy. He has a pair of nines. It's the best hand, but he can't know that. And if he calls this bet and loses, we're playing for the World Championship. If he's wrong, he's out of it. He's the runner-up. So it's really tough just to sit here and call with a pair of nines, particularly when Moneymaker has made two big bets in a row. Crazy call in here. Could be the best time.
Sam Farhall trying to draw something out of Chris Moneymaker, but he's like a statue, afraid to make any sort of move. He is not going to do it. Chris Moneymaker bluffs Sam Farhall out of a big stack of money.
And considering this situation, I know we're early in the century, but that's the bluff of the century. What a play from Chris Moneymaker.
So we're teaching habit 1, which is proactivity.
You have extras, you have enough room.
Yeah, there's enough room. We should be good.
You have one? Did you get one, Leanna?
No. Need a chair.
What do these two things have in common? Life and poker. I want you guys to ponder these while we present on proactivity.
Our objective is to familiarize you with the term proactivity and the steps needed to be a proactive person.
Proactivity, as it is defined, means more than merely taking initiative. It means that as human beings, we are responsible for our own lives. Our behavior is a function of our decisions, not our conditions. We can subordinate our feelings to our values. We have the initiative and responsibility to make things happen.
Okay, so we're going to unpack that quote a little bit. So, responsibility. What do you guys' feedback? I want to hear some feedback on what you guys think responsibility is. You guys know what responsibility is, right?
What do you guys think it means to be responsible?
Taking accountability for yourself.
Sure, that's good. Okay. What else? Anybody?
To be in control of something.
Okay.
Doing things that are expected of you.
Okay, I want to do a little play on words here. The ability to respond properly, right? Okay, so that takes awareness to do. Ability to respond to a situation properly takes awareness.
Self-awareness is to stand apart from our circumstance and examine the way we see ourselves. To do this, you must take a second and step out of yourself, not allowing your emotions or your moods or feelings to take an effect on your circumstance. There are 3 theories that can affect your proactivity and the way we handle our situations, our circumstances. The 3 theories of determinism is, the first one is genetic determinism. This is like the DNA that you're born with. It's your parents, your dad has a temper, so you have a temper genetically. The second is psychic determinism. Parents, this is because their parents did it to you. It's your upbringing, your childhood experiences. Your parents grew up democratic, so by nature, upbringing, you feel the same way. Environmental determinism is the third. And this is someone or something is responsible for your situation. Let's say you get in an earthquake and you're displaced. That's nothing you can handle on your own. So, the point to take away from this is that we're faced with a circumstance that leads to a decision, which leads to a response. These three theories can affect our proactivity in decision making if we are not aware and responsible for them.
Okay, so did you guys get all those three? Any questions about them?
What did you say that genetic was?
It's basically what you're born with, like your DNA and stuff.
As far as like psychic determinism, what's the difference between that and environmental as far as your description? I was kind of a little confused.
It's kind of like environmental factors, like a natural disaster or like something like that, which is more like
That's
like
environmental.
the
Right,
desk fell
so-
over and it hurt you. Like that's kind of like here now. I would say psychic determinism is more like socially how like it changes you over time, like an upbringing or like a childhood experience, which kind of shapes
More of a social
Yeah.
socialization. Okay.
Yeah.
socialization. Yeah.
So back to the video that you guys watched. The attitude that we take into our circumstance can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, good or bad. In Chris Moneymaker's case, he didn't have a good hand at all. He had nothing. And he took the mindset of, I'm going to win this hand with nothing. And he went all in. Sam Farha had pair of nines, which is the higher hand. And he got scared because he didn't think his hand was good enough. And both of those were self-fulfilling prophecies. And the good was Chris Moneymaker, and the bad was Sam Farha. So his attitude toward his hand was negative, but that was Sam Farha, and the outcome was negative. And you see the positive from Chris Moneymaker, and he had a positive outcome. He ended up winning a world championship and got a lot of money. So, what do you guys have any examples that has happened in your life where you have kind of the mindset of I'm not going to do very good, and you don't do very good, or you say I'm going to do really good and you do really good, like the attitude toward the event that you're going to do. You guys have any? Want to share maybe a couple?
I'd say for me, it happens in school a lot. Like if I, like let's just say taking a test, when I feel like it's a subject that I could do well in, that helps me like in my preparation, because I'm confident that I'll do well, and so like I feel better about preparing. It's something I want to do. Whereas like if I'm feeling like I'm not understanding this subject, I'm probably not going to do well anyway, then I usually like won't put the time necessary, or I guess I should say I'm not as motivated to. And so I'd say that's kind of how it relates.
Yeah. I know for, Brady, you have one?
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say for sports, like, if you think you're gonna do well, then you're gonna do a lot better than if you are doubting yourself before the game or whatever. If you aren't in a good like mental state, then you're not going to perform as well as if you were confident and confident in your abilities.
Yeah, going to the sport one, when I was at City College, our coach would tell us this red light, green light kind of analogy. And if we had a teammate that was in the red light, kind of, I feel sick, I don't feel good today, we would tell them green light, like get in the green light. You're not sick. If you are, there's not much you can do about it. So race to the best of your ability. Don't talk negatively because you're going to get everybody else down. So having the attitude that you approach into the situation makes a big effect on the outcome of that situation. So there's a few steps to take the right proactive attitude towards your circumstance.
This is what we like to call the circle of concern, and this includes all the concerns that you have in your life, and within that circle is our circle of influence, which the difference between all of our concerns and our circle of influence is The circle of influence are the things that we can control. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we do the circle?
Yeah, we can do a circle. Okay, so everybody flip your papers over. So here is your circle of concern. Okay, you guys are welcome to copy this down. It might help you. Draw it nice and big. And inside that is your circle of influence. So this is what you can control right here. These are like if you choose to do your homework or not, stuff like that. And out here are the circumstances that you can't control, like a tsunami or an earthquake or national debt.
For taxes.
Okay, so you can fill those in with some things that you have control over. They go in the middle one, and things you don't have control over go on the outside one. Okay. And I was reading a book for another class. It's by Robert Murray. He was in a wheelchair. He had a tumor in his spine. And he says this in regards to his circumstance. It's the worst kind of human foolishness to worry over things that are inevitable. It's like fretting over death. You can spoil life that way. Basically what he's saying is don't focus on what you cannot control, but focus on what you can. And that's the circle of influence.
So, in conclusion to proactivity, I'm going to quote Dr. Gibbon, who spoke in chapter yesterday, when he said, "The pathway to improvement is being proactive. Learn to accept what you cannot change and have the courage to change the things you can." When he was talking about anxiety when he said that, and when we stress about things that we can't control, it's pointless. Like the Robert Murphy quote, like Dr. Gibbon said, it's more important to focus on what we can control, and that will make our circle of influence bigger and our circle of concern, the things that we can't control, less. And so back to our question on the board, what do these life and poker have in common? In poker, you have no control over the cards that you're giving, but you can have control of how you're going to play those cards. Being proactive, it's not about the cards that you're given, but it's how you respond to those cards with the attitudinal decisions that you make.
So that's habit one. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, great.
Get it? Nice.